Yo, what's up, YouTube? What's up, Motor City Customs family? As you guys may have noticed, we have another project in the shop. Still wrapping up on the 63. Just got a couple of the parts that we were waiting on. But most importantly, we'll be able to finish up that belt line mold and trim in the back. Hopefully do that today. Last video, we got the bumper on, etc. But we also were able to acquire a better windshield. Well, that's yet to be decided. Let me clean it up first before I say that. But we got another windshield. But in parallel, we got another project in the building. Acquired a vehicle here, a 2014 Acura. What is it? I want to say RLX. I'm still kind of fairly new to this model. Yeah, RLX. So this car is like, for this particular year, this is like loaded, has all the options, etc. Pretty nice car. A 3.5 liter engine, etc. But it had been in a front end collision. The bumper cover has been replaced already and a couple miscellaneous parts, but it's got some issues that still need to be resolved. A whole lot of little stuff on the interior trim, but the biggest issue right now is this passenger side suspension has sustained a significant impact. So it's got some bent up suspension parts, and my objective this week is to try to get that corrected and get the car, back on the ground and able to have the wheels straight, and run and drive with no issue. So yesterday, got it into the shop and didn't have my jack stands at the time, so we just got it sitting on some blocks. I'm gonna correct that now, but we got the car jacked up, wheels off, and took a look, and what I found is the upper control arm is badly bent, as you can see that. So it's twisted. They're just made out of some stamped steel, so they kind of bend easy. You can see the ball joints popping up out of there too, that upper ball joint. But we can also see some witness marks here where you can see basically that tire, it got pushed up into the wheel well and it rubbed there and created some issues. So there's some other little things, but for right now we're gonna focus on that. Now, unfortunately, to remove that whole strut assembly has to come out, and a bunch of things have to get disassembled on the suspension. So I'm gonna be working to do that so that I can gain access to the bolts that secure that upper control arm. I don't know if you guys can see them, but they're way in there. All right, so in order to get those out, because they're longer bolts, you really need to take the shock out or loosen it significantly so you could tip it forward. So I think I'm gonna just pull the whole damn thing out. It's got some other miscellaneous things going on under the hood. When it first came in, or when it first got dropped off the truck, we noticed there was no belt on it, the serpentine belt. So that's the first thing I did once pulling it in the shop. I don't have my flashlight here, but I think you can see there's a belt now on there. Gotta have that alternator charging, etc. So we've done that. We noticed that it's got a new radiator, and like I said, some of the repair work has already been started, but it's got no coolant in it, so I need to fill that up. The battery was dead. I've already charged that up, and it had a blown tire. So yesterday also I went and got a tire replaced. That's not the one though, that's the original. It was this tire here. Yeah, this left side tire was all smashed up. Luckily, it looks like no impact to the suspension on the left side, but that tire had took damage. So I don't know what happened, if it ran over a curb or what kind of collision it was in, but it wasn't too bad. It was bad enough to tear up a few things. And the car, I think it's been sitting for a while and it's just gotten real filthy. It's got a few scratches on it. I don't know what the hell happened here, but somebody got some kind of caulking or adhesive all over the damn car. I'm gonna try to get that off. And I don't know. This is it's pretty much now, a good project. So I'm gonna work on it, and we'll see how far we can get with it. And it's a little bit something different for the channel, right? We primarily work on old schools here, but it can't hurt to throw a new school in the mix too. As honestly, I wouldn't mind getting into working on some of these newer cars as well, and repairing light collision damaged vehicles and flipping them. So this could be the start of something new for us. What else I wanted to point out? Yeah, this the fender got slightly damaged in the lower left too, and I already did quite a bit of pulling out with just my hand. So we'll see about trying to get that straight too. And again, once we get that mechanical stuff situated, then we'll be able to dig deeper into some of the other stuff. I got to get the key fob and open the car up and give you guys a better look on the inside, but there's a lot of work to be done on the inside. Is when this thing got in the collision, it's like every airbag, I guess, blew. And fortunate for me, it looks like some of those have already been replaced, and or the new airbags are purchased and sitting in the car. But I'm sure there's gonna be some things that are probably missing that we'll have to get. I was trying to figure out what's going on with the sunroof. It has a sunroof, but it's not 100% latched, and the mechanism is all taken apart right now, the switches and all of that. So I gotta try to get those working. I gotta get my scan tool, which I don't really have a very fancy one. Hopefully the one I have will be able to communicate with this car, and just take a look and see what kind of diagnostic trouble codes are stored in the various modules. You know, just go through the car and see what we can find. But so far, the good news, man, is the thing runs beautifully. Runs really, really nice. I actually drove it into the shop, you know, so I was happy about that. Couldn't run it long because I didn't have the accessory belt on there and needs fluids, etc. But yeah, the car ran good. It's nice on the inside, nice black leather. It has what they call the tech package, so it's got like all the bells and whistles, navigation, touchscreen, you know, climate control, all that stuff, XM, Bluetooth, all the cool things, you know, heated seats. I think it's got a reverse camera, I think some kind of collision alert. It's got a whole bunch of features that I'm still learning about. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's only a 10-year-old vehicle. Fairly low mileage for one of these two. This thing has a little over 117,000, I think like 117,600 some miles. So almost 118,000, but that's fairly low mileage for one of these things. This car also, I believe from the little research I've done, it came from Texas. So, you know, that's a warm climate, that's good. It doesn't have any rust that's visible, and it should be pretty clean underneath. Hopefully all the nuts and bolts come apart easily because of that. But yeah, you know, happy to have it, but a little bit paranoid because so far what I found is this particular model of vehicle, whether it be in the high-end Acura, the parts are very, very expensive. I mean, like ridiculously expensive. So that could be somewhat cost prohibitive to putting the thing back together. As you guys know from previous videos, we do things on a budget around here, and I'm not wealthy by any stretch of the imagination. So doing what I can. But luckily, again, somebody already did some of the big spending and bought some of the parts prior to it landing in my possession. So for example, these headlights alone, I saw a pair of these things on eBay for $1,800. I almost fell out of my chair. That's a lot of money for headlights, but apparently these are those kind of adaptive headlights that adapt while you're cornering. The bulbs will actually move and adapt to the road, etc. This car has, I think, 4-wheel steering or something like that. So there's a lot of little things that are cool features, but if you have to try to fix them, they can really add up because the parts are still bringing a premium. So anyway, hopefully we don't run into anything big like that or any roadblocks. And but for the primary objective is just to get the wheels straight again and get the car running. I think I mean, it runs already, but to get it moving down the road, you know, I think we'll be able to do that. Maybe for contrast, let me just show you guys again. I want to grab my flashlight and I'll show you again what the upper control arm should look like and what the bad one looks like. So we'll start by taking a look here on the driver's side. This side is good, okay? So there, you see that upper control arm? You know, it's not twisted up. The ball joint looks good. Everything seems to be in place, right? Now just remember that picture as we flip to the other side. Bam. Bent to hell. So that will cause a lot of problems. So we're gonna take that bad boy out and hopefully straighten things out. I mean, I was expecting a little bit more bent up under here, but it's in good shape. Like this steering knuckle is good. The tie rod appears to be good. I was expecting like a sway bar or something, but I don't see a sway bar on the car. The lower control arm seems to be okay, but we'll get into it a little bit deeper and we'll see. But again, that's the main objective. Replace that upper control arm and kind of see where we land from there. If that doesn't do it for us, then we'll have to keep digging. But I'm pretty confident that we'll be able to get this thing together. Maybe once we're able to get all that stuff done, we can then get into some cosmetics. This might be a good candidate for another paint job. The only problem right now is kind of the weather. But anyway, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. We'll see how it goes, guys. Stay tuned. I'm your host, Shawnee C. at Motor City Customs, and this is the new project, 2014 Acura, what is it again? Acura RLX. Okay? Stay tuned, guys. Peace. All right, guys. So, got everything torn apart. Yeah, so the arm is out, etc. But when I got the arm out, it didn't really look as twisted as I thought it did. I know the ball joint was kind of like popped out of its place a bit, so I reseated it, and I don't know, I think I might throw it back together just to see if it was as simple as that. I also found that one of the cross member or support bolts was backed out a bit, I think from whoever was doing some work on it before. So it could be as simple as that. The strut itself doesn't look bent. So, you know, although I did order a new upper control arm, it won't arrive until Thursday. And that means I won't be able to even install it until Friday. And Thursday it's gonna rain, it's gonna be wet in this spot, etc. And I'm just sitting here thinking like, well, hey, since this thing kind of looks decent and I got the time, I'm here right now, let me put it back together and see if it was just as simple as that ball joint being kind of popped loose and the cross member bolt being backed out of, you know, significantly. So I'm gonna try and put it back together and we'll see what happens. Worst case scenario, either way, I think I will plan to put the new control arm back on because, you know, if this one has come loose, you don't want that happening while you're driving. It's already somewhat compromised. So, you know, we'll go with the flow. Let me put things back together and see how it turns out. Best case scenario, the wheel is gonna be back in position. Worst case scenario, I need to look a bit deeper to see what else may be tweaked. But yeah, all right. So I'll come back to you guys in a little bit with hopefully good news, but we're prepared for whatever comes our way. Stay tuned.